talk about build versus buy. You and I talked about that for like 20 minutes last time. So we're talking about this. It's like, well, there has to be some situation where it's a build versus buy situation and you do an analysis.
Mhm.
Like, what calculation do you use, or what thought process do you use before you're going to do a build versus buy? Because I know that would prefer to buy, right? But then in some
Oh, yeah.
cases where you
Yeah.
can't, like how do you, like, what would you share with someone if you go, this is how you can recognize that the buy is not going to do it. This is when you have to talk to,
Yeah.
you have to talk to Craig, like
Ah.
even if you don't want to, right?
No, look, so the first thing I always do, even before I say bill or buy, is what do I already own? I think if you look at a lot of companies, some of them aren't using even 50% of the functionality they're already paying for. So you've got to go through that process of saying, you want to do X. Can I do that with what I've got with maybe a few little tweaks or maybe even right out of the box? So let's say I can't. Well, now it's like, what am I trying to deliver internally versus externally? I think that's important because if it's an external, something my customers are going to use, I might be a little bit more picky on does what I'm looking at have to hit 80% of the requirements, or do I got to get to like 98%,
Mhm.
which can drive you more to a build. I'll give you an example right now. We've put out a solution that we believe is a bit of a game changer in our industry. And to do that, we had to partner with a company that had you bought something, but there was going to be build required to make it do what we wanted. So, in that case, because our customer was going to be using it every single day, and it's something that we felt we could roll out to multiple customers in order to give them a better solution, we went with build because we wanted to get to that 98%. 80% wasn't enough. When I'm looking at, hey, we're going to do a warehouse management system or we're going to do an ERP system, now those are kind of bigger, but you're never going to get 100% buy. But building something that enormous is painstaking and very expensive in the long haul and hard to support. So, I think you just got to go through what is you're trying to achieve and what is the best cost effective, time effective way to solve it and make the decision accordingly. But yes, I think I obviously lean to buy because of things like upgrades and new features, new functionality. That's very hard to keep up with on a build solution.
Yeah, it's just I get it. When people say that they'd rather buy, it's because like there's at least a feeling that the industry is servicing the innovation, right? If you have enough customers clamoring for stuff, or they say, "Are you coming out with something like this or coming out with something
Yeah,
like that?" and it births these new ideas. I get all that, and I think I shared with you before. It's like for us, it's like we have some people that are so adamant that they have the differentiator. Like you said, you had the game
absolutely.
changers.
Hmm.
Like I want to build because I don't want to contribute to the community at large. I want to be able to sell this or execute this that shows my company's different from the other
Yeah,
99.
and that's the example I just gave. Is in that case we felt it was a true differentiator, and we knew build. There's a part buy, but building it was 80% of it, and we made the decision that made sense because it gave us a
Yeah, and I
differentiation.